Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 35 of the Screen Rock podcast. Hope everyone is doing good. Now, it's me doing a little video before the episode. I know what you're thinking, what have they done wrong this time? Well, basically, to anyone who's listened to the podcast a lot, thank you for listening. To new people, I'm sure there are some new people. We've had a lot of new followers on Instagram and everything like that recently. I've done some interviews in Pod Bible and places like that, so there's probably some new listeners. And the reason I'm doing this message is because this episode isn't one of my best, and this episode requires a bit of context and explaining, I think. So basically, we recorded this episode after I'd been out, basically, and it's my fault. I went out before a morning when we were recording, a morning when Jake had to move a lot of stuff around and travel to get to my house all the way across London, blah, blah, blah. And when he turned up, I was not ready to record. I was still drunk from the night before. I mean, we talk on the episode about my escapades on that night. Basically, I was in a bad way. And Jake was pissed off, understandably, which meant just before we recorded the episode, Jake and I had a bit of an argument. Mum and Dad were looking at divorce lawyers. We are not getting divorced, but it means that the vibe of this episode is a bit off. We are not at our best in terms of bouncing off each other and in terms of enjoying it and making each other laugh. And I think if you've listened or watched before, you'll know that's what we're good at. So apologies for that. My fault. I won't do it again. It also means next week's episode will be an online one because we were supposed to record 2 at a time, but because we spent so much time bitching and arguing, we didn't have time to do 2. So the next one will be an online one. Look, it's still a funny episode. You will still enjoy it. If you're fans of passive aggression, plenty of that in here. For the spreadsheet lads who make a spreadsheet, the guys who are listening make a spreadsheet of who they think we hate the most when we're doing these episodes. You could probably put me on the spreadsheet because Jake hates me quite a lot in this episode. So apologies. Hope you enjoy it anyway. And we'll see you next time. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Screen Rock podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content where... Welcome to the Screen Rock...
This is all staying in.
Welcome to the Screen Rock podcast, the podcast where we discuss the weirdest and worst content that's been on our screens and, indeed, our minds. I'm just about here with Jake Farrell.
If only the Wavy Garm Schooners had actually won the Premier League, all of the tragic events of this morning so far could have been avoided. Actually, you'd probably be more hungover if they'd won the Premier League, wouldn't you? Just less sad.
Well,
mic to the mouth. Remember, mic to the mouth.
Okay. Well, I'm hungover.
You'd never guess from the sound of your voice. Oh no, you definitely would.
I'm hungover. I'll tell you what. So, okay. I went to the football yesterday.
Yes.
I had a very unfortunate set of circumstances.
Yeah.
So I was stuck between
a rock and a hard place.
Well, I was stuck between a rock and a hard place. I was stuck between some scaffolders I grew up with and some podcasters from America. And that's
basically
about
as bad as it gets.
That's basically what happened to my evening.
Yeah.
There's some lads who do a podcast called the Arsenal Opinion Podcast.
Right.
They're English guys based in America. I've been doing a show with them for 6 months. I've never actually met them.
Oh, okay. They're
so I was meeting them for the first time. I randomly bumped into a geezer called Kim that I went to school with, who's a scaffolder.
Right. Kim. You don't hear that name very often.
Yeah, named after his aunt.
Huh. What?
Yeah.
That's the most Aussie thing ever.
Yeah, it's very Aussie. We went on a lads holiday together.
Named after his aunt?
Yeah, we went on a lads holiday together when we were 18. And the pictures from that holiday are quite funny in the sense that Kim already had 2 sleeve tattoos and a 6-pack, and the rest of us looked like the in-betweeners.
Amazing.
And you wouldn't believe...
Oh, the guy that looks like a cage fighter? Yeah, he's named after his aunt. Yeah.
You wouldn't believe he was the only one who had sex on that holiday. Yeah, so it's quite a funny evening.
Bumped into Kim unexpectedly at the football, or expectedly?
Yeah, unexpectedly. He won't listen to this.
You have to bleep that.
Basically, just stuck on the Holloway Road with a football podcaster trying to talk about inverted fullbacks and 2 scaffolders saying, I know you know what you're talking about, but at the same time it just sounds like bollocks. And that was the vibes, yeah.
My opinion exactly as well.
How was your weekend?
Good. I didn't do anything. I didn't bump into any podcasters. I didn't bump into any people named after their aunts from my past. That was unexpected. To be fair to you, that would drive me to drink, that situation. I mean, like, if I'm in a mildly awkward social situation, I will do like 4 pints in 15 minutes. So no wonder you're in the state that you're in.
I nearly got beaten up. Someone recognised me from YouTube. I don't know what that meant. I guess True Geordie.
Right.
And started on me.
Did he?
Yeah. I'm only sort of clocking now. My arm really hurts, and he threw me across the bar in the Islington Tavern.
Wow.
I tell you what though, that in that situation you're like, thank fuck I bumped into some scaffolders earlier, because they were great. They really sorted
Kim?
Yeah.
Well, now I already felt slightly awful. You might detect from the kind of somewhat slow tone of the podcast, slightly narked off by Jacob's hungoverness, but now it turns out he's been assaulted, had people from his past pop up.
I did get jumped. I got properly jumped.
So the tactics boys didn't help you out in that circumstance?
No, Pete was no use.
No help.
But the scaffolders were a great help. They
And then Arsenal won but didn't win the league. Sorry about that.
There was a horrible moment where I think the Everton fans started a fake cheer.
Oh
to
no!
Make us think that City had
horrendous.
Got 2-2 with West Ham, but they actually hadn't. And so there was a brief moment.
That is horrendous.
In the stadium, celebrated winning the league when we actually hadn't.
Oh god, that is as bad as it gets.
Yes.
That's why it sounds like we're recording this podcast from the gallows this morning. It's a slightly slower pace than usual, slower tempo. I wonder what that'll breed, really. Listen to it with your kids, maybe. Put your kids to sleep with this one.
Is there any admin we should do?
Live show. If Jacob's still alive by then, if he hasn't been assaulted by other people that hate him off of YouTube, on the 8th of August. Get your tickets now. bit.ly/ScreenRot Live. We've already sold almost all the tickets, I think, so you've got to jump on those quick if you want to come and see us and Josh Pugh. Jacob's hair is supported by the company Dents. Topical minoxidil and finasteride. Yeah. No side effects. See?
No.
It's the power of advertising. I don't even take it and I know the spiel. Yeah. There we go.
Yes.
Any other admin you want to do quickly?
No.
Well, this one is a weird one. He's a Scouse guy. He's a TikToker turned singer turned Instagrammer. Very strange. You'll know him. He's annoying. He's got very strange hair. Interesting to see where he goes on the roster rankings. This week, we're talking about Michael Aldag. Oi, get on this.
Go on.
Michael Aldag is emblematic of the fact that Liverpool might be the most self-confident city in the UK right now.
Is self-confident the phrase you'd use?
Feeling themselves? What's the less yank way of saying that?
They do a thing in Liverpool where they kind of... and this isn't because I'm like a nationalist. This isn't because I care about England.
Never a good start to a sentence.
No, this isn't because I'm a nationalist. They separate themselves from the UK, don't they? Their identity as Scousers is so strong to them that they feel that separates them from the rest of the country.
Famously, in relation to like England playing in the World Cup or the Euros, it's quite common for Scouse people to be like, I'd rather Everton win the Premier League than England win the World Cup.
Yes. Now, some of that you have to acknowledge is because of the Hillsborough disaster.
Yeah,
I think some of that is because of the way the national
they've been
media
treated by
that.
for sure.
Yeah, and so they kind of
and the way they felt they were targeted by conservative governments.
Yeah,
I think.
But then also like a large portion of the rest of the country, A, doesn't like the Sun newspaper, and B, doesn't like conservative governments. But they
still likes Harry Kane scoring goals in the Euros.
Yeah, they take it a step further and cut off their nose to spite their face.
Yeah, and Michael Aldag, and I think like culturally, obviously, they've always punched above their weight in terms of like the biggest band, the most important band ever.
Beatles.
Came from, I was thinking of the Zootons, but came from Liverpool. And therefore, there's this like real sense of something special about them, the Scouse wit and whatever. And Michael Aldag, I think, is the kind of the TikTok-ification of that.
Well, this is the thing with Michael Aldag. For me, he's so Gen Z.
Yes.
Like when I think of like what Gen Z is, and it's like Gen Z is an interesting thing for us to talk about because like. It doesn't feel like we're old enough that we should be able to talk about a younger generation yet. Do you know what I mean? It's like I feel like we should be the young people.
Yeah.
But there is such a clear distinction between people our age and people who are 21. Do you know how old Michael Aldag is?
He's like 24, I think.
Right. Okay. But I mean, he feels like a student.
Don't want another Jet Puckett situation on my hands.
He does feel like a student, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. And he's got a perm as well, which is
it a perm?
It's definitely not.
He's
normal.
done that to himself.
I believe so. Yeah, he's definitely
mental.
got normal hair.
He's got curly hair. But
I'm pretty sure it's
perm,
like permed. I'm pretty sure it's because he sometimes wears what I can only call a do-rag. And I'm pretty sure that's to preserve his curls.
He wears a do-rag?
I've seen him wearing a do-rag, yeah. I'm trying to find out how old he is now on my phone. Yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, so he's 22. He's 22. So yeah, he's a young man.
Right. If anyone hasn't seen this guy, how would you describe him?
Well, let's watch the first video because he started. Actually, just turn that light around as well. He started with these TikTok videos. He got big on TikTok basically, and he did these sketch videos. They got a very particular look about them. It's that classic sketch video where you kind of play two characters at once. And so this is one that he did quite recently that went mega viral. So this is while you'll probably know Michael Aldag.
Fucking hell, I'm 30, am I? What the fuck? Do a half marathon. Who said that? Do a half marathon and post it all over Instagram. Do you know what? That sounds like the best fucking idea I've ever heard.
So that's Jermaine, right? Because he's talking about 30-year-olds. The caption of that video about him talking about doing a half marathon and posting on Instagram is like all 30-year-olds ever.
Do you feel somewhat triggered by his description of people our age?
As someone that did the Great South Run last year, yes, I do. Absolutely, I do. And like you say, you don't feel old enough to be like
memed,
fucked and memed. But seeing him properly violate our generation, and he's bang on. To be fair, we're recording this the evening after the Hackney Half Marathon, and that's what people do. There was hundreds of people all over my Instagram yesterday, everything down the Hackney Half Marathon, and our mate Rajiv he lives in Hackney, and he tweeted yesterday. I thought it was really funny. He said, "I've just made a fortune standing at the start line of the Hackney Half Marathon selling cardboard signs that say, 'You got this, Ellen,' on it," which is good. And like Michael Aldag really kind of captures that there. Well, self-confident, Scouse wit ripping it out of us.
It's a really bad sketch.
It's not great, is it?
Let's be honest. Like he swears loads in it. That's something I really. Do you know what? That's something.
Fucking does.
That's something I really notice about young men of that age is they kind of mask their like lack of confidence by swearing a lot. And again, I know I'm playing into the stereotype of like an old man who, you know.
I was going to say, you're not making us look very cool here, appealing for the younger generation to swear less.
But it does really get me when young men like that. Fucking young men like that. I sound like my nan. But they swear a lot. They do swear a lot, I find that really off-putting. He is one of those people, Michael Aldag, where like because he's not a comedian.
No, this is the thing. He's just like an amorphous personality, and he started out doing loads of sketches like that. And the next kind of one we'll get into is we talked about this before. It's like you can't really make money out of that. Do you know what I mean? You have to find something where
you have to monetize. If you're going to build a following, you have to monetize.
I think you can get paid a bit if you get billions of views on TikTok, or you can get paid a lot, I think, just from SponCon or whatever. You can have people that are pure personalities, but he's at a level where he had to graft on this thing onto it, and his thing was music, or is music. Well, I just find it really interesting because he doesn't seem a natural musician, and I'm not exactly clear that he wants to be a singer. But it's like you got to do something. I think the natural thing to me would have been try stand up. Do you know what I mean?
So was he doing the sketches before the music?
Yeah, the sketches came first.
Was he?
The sketches became like what made him big on TikTok.
Right.
And then after that was where he's then kind of gone into music.
Wow.
And so I read a piece on the Liverpool Echo, which was like, the classic origin piece, like we talked about. Who is the 21-year-old Scouser that's driving kids wild? And it's like, oh yeah, I played some gigs in bars and stuff in Liverpool. And it's like trying to make out it was his kind of first love, from what I can tell. I think he would have been on the X Factor once upon a time.
Yeah,
Aldag.
He would have been not viral, but he would have been someone that everyone spoke about at work on a Monday morning, because he would have been the cringe guy on X Factor who can't really sing,
but he's got a bit of a cheeky chappy personality. Yeah,
Cal would be like, no way, you're not going through.
Yeah.
One of the women, like because they kind of rotate their women on those shows, don't they?
Yeah.
One of them would have been like, oh no, he's kind of cute.
Who was it was Talisa in the heyday, wasn't it?
Well, I think of Sharon Osbourne.
Yes. Yeah, true.
That's like original lineup.
Trying to appear younger than I am.
Yeah, but then...
I was 20, it was Talisa.
Yeah, but then Talisa took it over. But yeah, I think one of the girls would have taken a shine to him and been like...
Would have had a go.
We can stick him through.
Yeah.
And he would have got to judges' houses.
Minimum.
Yeah. I think so.
Maybe even a late run to the finals, when it's just like, who's the people that was there were just like, fucking, I can't be asked with proper singers, just give me a Like Chico got quite far. Remember Chico?
Chico did. Who was that girl? She was like a weird rapper who wore sunglasses. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Not Cher Lloyd.
No, not Cher Lloyd. She had like a funny name.
I was about to say Stavros Flatley then, but that's something very different.
No. Oh, there was a girl. I say a girl, she's like a woman. It's like Cheeky D or something.
Oh yeah, that rings a bell.
What I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, they'd always have one freak who couldn't really do music, but they'd be like...
That was always a real test, wasn't it? It was like, it's probably about 5 weeks to go where the public would go, all right, Chico, like everyone's had a good laugh.
Yeah, we've had a laugh now, but you have
it.
to go home. We're going to give out a record deal in a minute. It can't be you.
Yeah.
But then looking back, you go, you know what, like the people who did get the record deals who could sing, they didn't do anything with it.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Matter anyway, does it?
I randomly, this was years ago, I randomly went in a bar on Upper Street one night. It was like a kind of like Thai food and cocktail bar, like kind of like fancy. No. Fancy place, but shit. We to be really honest, we were just looking for somewhere that had decent toilets.
Okay. Because we're gastroenteritis.
Absolutely, yeah. Because we all got IBS. And we went downstairs, and it was like a private function. And we were like, "Oh, what is this?" But it was such a poorly attended private function. They were happy for anyone to just join them. And it was
sounds like my gigs.
It was a guy who had got to the final of the X Factor,
right?
But his kind of like his gimmick was he's a bin man. But this was like 10 years after this.
What was his name? Andy.
Yeah.
I remember him.
Older guy. And this was like 10 years after he'd done X Factor. Someone had given him a bit of money, and he was releasing an album. And the album launch...
Juxtaposition Records?
The album launch was in this mad bar on Upper Street. And we just wandered into it. There was like hardly anyone there, his family and a few mates.
Yeah.
We thought we were going to be like the worst arseholes in the bar. He was geared off his nut.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah. And he was like, boys, this is the worst night of my life. This mad investor gave me 50 grand to make an album. The album's shit. I'm just stuck in this bar trying to promote something I really hate. What are you doing later? And we nearly took him home. We nearly were like, just come back to ours, man. This is, you've got yourself in a pickle here, clearly. Just come back.
Oh, my God. when the lads that are going into a Thai restaurant because of the quality of the toilets are the ones going, "Come with us, mate. We'll look after you."
Yeah, we'll get you out of here, mate.
You've got a big problem.
You've got yourself in a bit of trouble here. We'll get you in. Should we? Have you got some?
Yeah, this one's a
Aldag's-
good example because this melds the TikTok and the music, and this is really disgusting. But watch this.
Story time. 2 years ago, I met the most beautiful girl that I've ever seen. She had cheekbones that could cut glass. We'd go out and party and have the best time. She was like a whirlwind to be around. But then I started to realise she's actually addicted to drugs. And I just started to watch her deteriorate and lose herself. And I felt like saying to her,
Hey, beautiful, what's your obsession with those keys in that cubicle? Your face is getting pale and your mouth is getting worried 'cause you're spending all the money.
Oh God.
We all love you, we all need you. Please stop climbing into random BMW. Found your friends 'cause it's cold outside. You won't find love in the snow tonight.
So that's Cubicles. That came out on Friday the 1st of March.
Jesus Christ.
That's actually about Andy the bin man from X Factor.
Mate, what's so like, and when I say he's cringe, it's like I have a physical reaction when I watch.
Yeah,
it.
it's tough.
I'm like,
It's very tough to watch.
It's the like, he's kind of emo in a way, isn't he?
Yeah. And so basically all of his songs are about like kind of GCSE drama topics.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. It's exactly what it's like. It's like she was addicted to drugs. It's like, no, she wasn't. Like when you're 19, no one's addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like this kind of. Like, do you remember
I don't know if that's a true statement, but I know what you mean.
Okay. But do you remember like when you were like 15, like 14, 15, and like you'd go to like a park and drink tins,
Yeah.
right? And it'd be like boys and girls together, like proper like kid drinking.
Best days of your life.
And every now and then, like a boy or a girl would get so drunk they'd start being sick, and everyone else would like start screaming as if they were going to die.
Usually
do,
me, yeah.
But do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean, yeah.
They're like, it's like they act out a scene they've seen in Hollyoaks. They're like,
Right.
oh my god, Sam's pissed. Oh, have you seen what's happened to Sam? He's vomiting. Oh, someone call his mum. He's going to die. It's like, no, he's not. Like he just had 6 tins of lager.
Do you hear about Jake Farrell? Got his stomach pumped last weekend.
Yeah. That's it. It's like, oh my god. And they talk about it as if like, I think he should go to therapy. He had to have his stomach pumped. It's like, no, you fucking don't. You've just been sick in a park. That's like his story.
I would like to get the NHS statistics on the number of stomach pumpings per year. I reckon it's under 500 nationwide.
Yeah.
It's just such a severe and insane procedure. But like at my school, there was like 150 people that claimed they'd had their stomach pumped.
That was always the story. Is like, he had to have his stomach pumped, and it's like,
Why is he northern? Why are you doing this?
well, it's Aldag, isn't it?
Oh, you're doing
it's Aldag.
Aldag,
Yeah. Because that's the thing. He doesn't even sound that Scouse to me.
No,
Yeah.
he's kind of almost Americanized his accent a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah,
And what
yeah.
you didn't, if you're only listening, what you didn't see is that he's doing this almost dance routine of kind of trendy hand gestures. He does like
horrible.
when he says getting into BMWs, he does the kind of like like hand gesture.
It's so cringe. It's
But
so bad.
that's the he's had to do these like GCSE drama. Like it's like the play you do about eating disorders in GCSE
Yeah,
drama,
yeah.
but it's a song, which kind of like Ed Sheeran's The A-Team, but even worse. And also he's having to do these little dance moves on top of it, and it seems that he's basically like a teeny bopper, right? He's like appealing to 13-year-old girls.
Teeny bopper.
Yeah. And so within all of that, it's like this Scouse wit has transformed into this old-fashioned kind of teeny bopper pop star, where the music is a bizarre side product to the social media personality. Like I don't really
Yes.
understand. I don't like. Again, maybe this is the we're all old episode. Like you're hungover, we're all feeling a bit slow this morning, and we're like, why is Michael Aldag doing these hand gestures?
Yeah. It does make me feel so old because I look at it and I'm like, the main thing I look at with him, I'm like, if I was behaving like that, I'd really want my mates to tell me to stop. Do you know what I mean? If I was in his position, if I was doing those like hand gestures and making that music,
Right.
like you almost feel like, where's his mates? Why has no one been like, you have to stop? Like, this is so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, 2 fucking idiots in a spare room are going to make a podcast about you.
And just like we'll watch the next video because it's it's another it's him doing an acoustic song, and it's another example of like I don't really think he's that into music. But this is another GCSE drama one.
Hey, beautiful, what's your obsession with those keys?
Same song, isn't it?
Same song. He's only got a couple.
Your face is getting pale and your mother's getting worried.
He's wearing a
She's spending
Gymshark
all the
tight
money
white
again.
t-shirt. He's doing very strange
You'll love you.
voices, but you can see he's doing the same hand gestures every time.
Cause it's cold outside. You won't find love in the snow tonight.
And what I really like about it is because it's got these like double entendres. Like the snow, obviously, is a reference to cocaine, and
Very
it's like
clever.
that's the thing. When you're 16, you've been like, "Have you heard about Michael Aldag? Have you heard Michael Aldag's lyrics?" At one point, he says one word that means two different things.
But this thing, he's not 16. He's 22.
Yeah, it's true.
do you know what I mean? Like if this was like a GCSE kid,
Yeah,
it'd be like, yeah, it's a bit embarrassing, but we all did shit like that when we were 16. He's 22. There are
Yeah.
people who've got mortgages at that age. there are people who've got children at that age.
Yeah.
Like he must have a job. Surely he's got a job.
yeah. I wouldn't be surprised just to like be walking around River Island in Liverpool and see him doing the shoes. Like I used to do.
Yeah. He's very retail.
Worst job I ever had, River Island.
Really?
Worst job. Oh, it's so boring.
How long did you do it for?
I was there. My mate Andy got me the job when we were like 16, and I did it my first year at uni as well. I always remember the first year at uni, no one I went to uni with worked basically because of social class. And on the first week, I was like, "Yeah, I've got to go to bed. I've got to get out for my job tomorrow." They were like, "What, River Island?" I was like, "Yeah, no, it's good. Like, it's good actually. It's a good job." Next morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock. It was like -10 in York. Walked to River Island. Got there. It was me and this other lad who, to be fair, was a bit of a comic books lad doing the stock take in the thing. And bless him, he didn't smell great. And there's like 10 of us in the stock room. Me and him down one end, and 8 people at the other end. And halfway through the shift, the manager came over and just came up to me, put a bottle of Shaw deodorant down and went, "Can you make sure that you clean yourself up next time before you get here?" And I was like, I don't know if she did it because it was so obviously him, but she didn't want to like.
Did you not?
I was just like, I thought about
Did you just
throwing him
take
under the
it?
bus.
Did you just take it?
Well, yeah, and I look back at it at the time and be like, what the fuck? So I just didn't have any money, so I couldn't quit the job. But then I look back at it and I think,
Jesus. But mate, even if it was you, that's such a horrible way.
Yeah,
for her to
yeah, yeah,
behave.
yeah.
How old are you?
I was 18.
How old was she?
I don't know. I had a weird thing when my mates used to rip me all the time when I was 18, where anyone over the age of 26, I'd be like, how old are they? 40? What are they? 40?
Mate, if you're working with a teenager and they smell, just let them smell.
Yeah, and I think he'd like left the bit for a minute and I was the only one down there. So I can't really remember how it was.
So do you think she legitimately thought it was you that smelled?
I don't know. I reckon maybe there'd been a complaint about our end of the stockroom, and when it definitely wasn't me, and like it was like if you'd have looked at me, I was like this dainty little indie kid, and this like 20. He must have been mid-20s comic book lad from York. All right, mate, how you doing? You all right?
Oh my God.
And it was like, which one of us do you reckon's a bit stinky?
The River Island head office, someone in HR has got a thing on their fucking desk in the morning. They're like, right, what do you have to sort out today? Well, someone in the York branch smells. It's either the student or the geezer who looks like a fucking like cartoon nerd from The Simpsons. We've got our suspicions, but we have to be very careful because one of them might have quite bad self-esteem already.
I wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. Was he? I think I was quite shocked by it, so I didn't really. And I remember considering throwing him under the bus in the moment,
But you didn't.
and I didn't.
That's quite heroic.
It's not really. I was just.
Well, no. The kind of thing might have been to be like, "You fucking stink, mate. You need to sort this out." He probably still works in that River Island now. He probably still fucking stinks, and it would have been the best thing you could have done. Would have been like, "You really need to hear this. You really need to have a fucking wash, mate."
I was just like, God, this really sums it up. And I just got back to uni like late that afternoon. Everyone just like all the Crouch End people like, how's your shift? Me be like, yes. Can
of deodorant hanging out your pocket that she's given you.
Yeah,
no point not taking it home. They cost £2. You're a student. You've got no money.
Probably did. 27-year-old woman came up to me and asked me not to stink as much.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, great times. How did we get onto that? What were we talking about? Oh, Aldag working in River Island because he can't make the money off to. Yeah. So the other thing about where it's like money wise, how does he do it? Is that he posts videos from his gigs, and they're shot in such a way and I know this feeling, having taken pictures of gigs for myself, or asked people to take pictures of me at gigs, where if there are like 7 people in a room watching you, you can take a picture in a way that makes it look like there's 100 people. And a number of his gigs are like,
I know how it works.
there are a number of people, there are a number of ways in which he does it that looks like that. It's just like a very strange thing. And if we go from that, we go from the acoustic set to, there's this thing, again, this is a sketch, this is just about going to the I think this is about like giving blood. It's just bizarre stuff.
I've just been into the place to give blood, and I went in with my mum, who's got brown hair, and we both go in and we both fill out the form, and it's like, have you got any diseases? And we both tick no, and then we both go to walk to the place where you're meant to give blood, and they pull me aside into a cubicle, and they say, we're really sorry, but you can't give blood today. And I said, why not? And they said, don't make us say it. And I said, no, I want to know. And they said, I think it's best you leave. And then they went carrot top like that. They went little ginger carrot top. We don't want your blood, they said. I'm trying to give blood, I'm trying to help other people. This is what happens to me every day. I don't think you realise.
So I think why I wanted to include that one is that's so clearly designed to game the algorithm, right? Because if you watch 5 seconds of that, he's telling a story.
Yeah.
You'll never guess what happened to me today.
Yeah, so then you have to watch till the end.
You have to watch till the end. And then the end's a complete lie. It's a kind of hack joke about gingers not being able to give blood. That's not true. I give blood all the time. They're very welcoming and receptive of it. And it's just like this mixture of craven social media algorithm gaming, bad pop music, and sketches.
But bad sketches.
Bad sketches.
No, like, that's not funny.
No, but he's beloved by the kids.
Did they love that?
They love him.
Fuck me. They're so weird, aren't they?
The
young
kids.
people.
Yeah.
They're fucking nuts. Like, he wouldn't survive in any other... Not survive, but like in any other generation, no one would want him. Do you know what I mean? Our age don't want him. People older than us must think that's mental.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Is he? That's what I'm always trying to find out with these things. Like, is he just a new version of an old phenomenon? Do you know what I mean? Like, who is he?
Who can you think of that's like that? He's almost a variety act.
Well, do you know what?
Is he Bobby Davro?
I was going to say Brian Connolly or Bobby Davro. Is he the Gen Z Bobby Davro?
We can ask Bobby. At the live show, we can show Bobby and we can say, what do you think of this? I don't think he'd be impressed. But the difference between him and a Davro, well, I say that, Davro's fucking told me lies about daughters. And
Yeah. Anything for a laugh.
What I was going to say is the sincerity thing. Like, what Aldag does is so sincere and like, emotive.
Yeah.
That's why it's so cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if when Davro's doing songs, does Davro do really emotional songs? Like,
no, not really. No, I don't. Well, maybe he does do a ballad every now and then. But my impression of Davro's is quite sort of camp and silly. None of this is silly. Do you know what I mean?
No.
There's no silliness with Aldag. It's all very kind of earnest, sincere. Even
the music is very sincere. Yeah.
But even the sketch, it's like he's trying to be like, they wouldn't take my blood because I was ginger. And it's like you're trying to be funny, but it's also like
a bizarrely sensitive topic.
Yeah. It's like, and this is kind of a Scouse thing. It's like you can't do anything without fucking crying, can you?
Well, and maybe come back full circle to the Scouseness. He is very particularly Scouse in that way. I think in that the Scouse personality is very singular. In that there is quite a lot of earnestness and emotion in it, isn't there?
Mate, they're so emotional.
Yeah.
They're so kind of like. I don't think it's possible to ask a Scouser to talk about Liverpool without them crying.
The city,
do you know what I mean?
the football club, or
all
both.
All of it, any of it. Mate. I mean, it's been a warm weekend. I'm sure there'll be hosepipe bands coming. You could water your garden with the tears of Liverpool fans crying because Jurgen Klopp has left Liverpool.
I'm a big Jurgen Klopp fan, and I watched the kind of goodbye ceremony yesterday. It was something more akin to. It would look more like Princess Diana's funeral.
You'd think he's been euthanized. Like you'd think he's going to fly to Switzerland and die. Like the way that they're talking about him.
Yeah.
But also the thing with it is it's contagious. He's German, right? Klopp is German. They're not known to be emotive people.
No.
And even he has been infected by it. And he's doing this all weird kind of like, if you ever need me, I'll come back. It's like, you're not fucking Batman. What are you talking about? That's Aldag, though. Aldag's got that kind of like insane sincerity, emotiveness, everything.
you know, the songs, oh, you're taking drugs tonight. It's like, what are you fucking on about? Why is everything so
Do you
emotional?
think it comes from, like, in a way, I think I've heard Scouse people profess they have a much greater sense of community in the north and northwest, in Liverpool in particular, than we southerners are able to create or have had. Do you think it's a function of that?
Well, it makes you not want it.
Do you know what? Do you not want it?
Is it the docks? Is that the thing? Have the docks made them like that? It's because
there's docks in London as well.
No, I know, but is it because they all used to work on the docks together and I don't know why they like. I don't get where the sense of community comes from, and I don't get why it makes them like that. Like, other people have a sense of community. People in small rural villages have a sense of community. They all know each other down the local pub and stuff. They all go to the village fete. They don't all cry when they talk about where they're from.
But maybe that's a beautiful thing, though. You don't think about, you don't tear up when you think about Kim and Ozzy.
We've said this before, but like, Lewis Dunford is the kind of London equivalent.
Yes, misty-eyed, cockney.
And it's horrible.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
It's horrible. Like, the way everyone should talk about where they're from, you should always go, oh, it's a bit of a shithole.
Yeah.
That's the most normal in English.
Where's the bell?
Doesn't matter where you're from. If you're from London, if you're from up north, if you're from the fucking West Country, any most normal people, you go, where are you from, mate? You go, oh, it's a bit of a shithole. Apart from millionaires who go, Hampstead.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Most people, you go, everyone in the country says, oh, where I'm from is a bit of a shithole. Even in Crouch End. You meet people from Crouch End, from like the nicest parts of North London, and even they will be like, oh, it's a bit stabby nowadays. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's only people from Liverpool who have this weird, like, geographical pride.
I wouldn't mind being a part of it, you know. I think that's the meaning that I need in my life.
Do you want to be Scouse?
If there's one thing I want people to take away from this episode is that, yes, I want to be Scouse. I just think that they're on the forefront. There's definitely something happening in like, obviously there's, people might know, there's like probably the biggest comedy podcast, definitely in the country, one of the biggest in the world, is based in Liverpool.
Yeah.
They've basically developed a kind of comedy scene there that's probably not that much smaller than London.
Maybe bigger.
Maybe bigger.
Yeah.
They've got Paddy the Baddy. I'm trying to think of other stuff they've got. They've got Aldag. There's a pop cultural thing happening around Liverpool, I think. There's always been pop culture that's come out of Liverpool.
Yeah.
But something's happening at the moment, I think.
Our city is flying at the moment. Our city is on fire at the moment. It's like, what do you mean? Some of you have got podcasts? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what does that mean? You've got an MMA fighter, a few comedians.
And Aldag.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave you with this last video. I don't know if this is even going to add anything to the mix. This is another quick sketch that I think I included just to make Jacob's cringes back went into dust one last time.
Doctor, my literal leg has fallen off like it's gone. So it has, yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is give you some antibiotics for my leg falling off. Yeah. And do you have any orange juice at home? Yeah, I've got orange juice. To drink that'll do it. And what do the antibiotics do? I don't know. They're just the same ones that I give to everyone, but I don't know. So just test them out. And hopefully my leg will jump back on. Yeah, if not, we'll get you into hospital. When? 2 years' time, when the waiting list's gone down. Thanks, doctor. Cheers.
Why did he write that?
I don't know.
It's like he's 22 years old. As if doctors' waiting lists are the biggest issue for people like him.
This is the thing.
It's like something my aunt would like talk to her neighbour about over the fence. It's like, oh god, the doctors have got. Oh, they just give you antibiotics nowadays, don't they? It's like, when did 22-year-olds start talking like that? I never went to the doctor when I was 22.
All of his like kind of polyamorous Gen Z followers being like, you know what really speaks to me? Doctors' waiting lists.
The over prescription of antibiotics. What's really getting Gen Z nowadays? Is it the fact there aren't any jobs? Is it they can't find anywhere to live? No, it's because doctors are too quick to subscribe antibiotics
for non-pertinent reasons.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
But again, that's the kind of like earnestness, the kind of strangeness. He is slightly like a middle-aged woman, isn't he? That's his kind of. He's got the haircut off, and yeah, it's a very strange thing. And I mean, we've spoken before. We don't always have answers for you on this podcast. We can't tell you what this means. With Gilbey, who we spoke about last week, who got in touch with us, said he liked the reels that we were putting out, said he was going to listen to the podcast. We couldn't tell you anything other than we liked him. With Aldag, I'm not sure we can tell you anything other than this is symptomatic of an increased confidence of the Scouse nation. And also, we haven't got a clue what the Gen Zers are up to, and that's about all we've got.
Like with the spreadsheet in mind, it's not. I don't hate this guy. I'm just so confused by him, and it's that proper like, who's this for? What is this? Yeah. I don't know where to stick this guy. I don't dislike Aldag. I'm just so puzzled by him. I
think that's fair. I wouldn't want to see him rated as a hate figure on the spreadsheet by any stretch of the imagination. I think we're more raising him as, we don't understand what the kids are into.
Yeah.
We are going to try and get young. We're going to come back next week with our skateboards and our gelled hair.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about some other Gen Z stuff, and we'll try and get to the bottom of it. But for now, I guess that's all we've got on Michael Aldag. Jacob's going to go and get an IV drip put in his arm now, and then maybe go to a Swiss sanatorium for a couple of weeks.
Yes. Yeah, thanks for listening, Rotters, and we'll chat to you soon.
Ciao.